positioned a couple times myself.
Hi, I'm just wondering, in light of your earlier comments about the sharks, where you come on the bear versus
Sorry,
shark.
about the what?
Sharks?
Sharks, yes, yes.
Where you
I call them
come on
sharks.
the bear versus shark debate.
The what?
Bear versus shark. It's very serious. No, bear versus shark.
Beer?
Beer.
The drink? Oh, beer. Beer were...
Yeah,
bears versus
beer.
sharks.
Yeah.
Where would they be fighting? Because I'm thinking that, you know, on land, chances are the bear has a slight advantage.
You have to take that into account, but I have...
Right, okay. So I've got some kind of a arena with a shark in one corner and a bear at the other. I put my money on the shark, he's been around longer. Bears, they just look so cute. Jane has this weird thing about polar bears. She says, like, if I could die anyway, I would like to be killed by a polar bear. She's like, that's eaten alive by an animal. She's like, but they're so lovely. I'm like, they're not lovely when they're eating you. I'd go with the shark. I think my money would be on the shark. Those suckers just go. I mean, they're just incredible. Feeding machines.
I've also heard some people say on the internet, so it must be true, that you should be considered for the next Doctor Who. So I'm just wondering, how's your English accent? Do you think you can pull it off?
See, the English accent's so funny because I've had all accents hammered out of me since I was like 16 when I first started acting. So I feel like I'm more American than Americans now. Because I'm Canadian, but I've been playing Americans for 20 years. So I'd actually have to study the English accent, which is funny. Because we used to go back for summers and visit my grandparents in England, and we'd come back with English accents because we'd spent, 4 months or whatever in England. Come back with these little accents, and then have them thrash out of us again. Ooh, tea! I get half of this. And then you'd show up in England, they'd be like, American man. So basically, you had to become a chameleon just to survive. So I would have to work on the English accent. But the Doctor Who thing was always, it's such a weird thing because Tennant's doing a fantastic job. He's also younger. And has more hair. I don't hold it against him. It's one of those things that I think, it's obviously, it would be a fantastic role. I mean, people talk about what role would you like to play. I love Doctor Who. I don't know what I'd do with it though, because it's so ingrained, I'm so Tom Baker on that stuff. Like, Pertwee and Baker were the guys I grew up with, and I don't know what I would do different. I always liked the idea of being Doctor Who, was Eddie Izzard. So Eddie Izzard was up for the role, and I thought, what a fantastic way to go, because that is just, if you're a Time Lord who, the new show there seems to be kind of a sort of an asexual quality to it, or multi-sexual quality to it. Eddie Izzard to me, like, you show up in pumps on a planet, with that kind of attitude and then that kind of eye makeup, and that's making an impression. So there you go. I'd probably go cross-dressing with it.
Hey, David,
chiffon scarf.
I just wanted to ask you, are you going to rap for us today?
What was that?
Are you going to rap for us today?
The rap thing's actually quite funny because I did this I had like 7 hours off in a trailer. It was very small, and I had a lot of coffee. And we just had this guy on set who MGM had flown down. He's like this guy. He has a rap, and he does this rap about Atlantis and all this stuff that he'd done. So, sort of as a joke, I rapped back to him. And the funny thing was, it did extraordinarily well. Like, all of a sudden, I was getting a lot of emails about it, and the numbers were sort of climbing, and I'm like going, oh God, what have I done? I thought, there's a couple thousand people who subscribe to some of the stuff that I do, and I just thought it was sort of for them kind of thing. It's a little joke. And then I got a call from MGM. And it was this marketing woman. She's like, yeah, David, we saw the rap. It's hilarious. Look, we gotta get you in the studio. I was like, I'm in the studio now. What are you talking about? He goes, no, we got a music guy. He worked with P. Diddy or something, and we think we should record something. I was like, we think we should. I mean, you know, it's like, you know, vanilla space ice. It's one thing to make a little joke on the set of a show. It's nothing to go into the studio and record, you know, your first rap album. Keep them separated. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm like the whitest man alive. That's the whole point. It was like this slugged white rapper. You know, it was just it was a one-off joke. Well, but you wait. If someone hands me a check now, I'll probably be, yo! Although my pants are getting baggier, I notice. And lower.
Hi, David.
Hello.
I'm just curious as to what influenced your decision to choose acting as a career over any other pathway.
It's kind of sad, actually. I went to an all-boys school, and my first introduction to acting was playing the girls in the shows. So I think we did a play called The Wild and Woolly West, and I played a hooker. And my first onstage appearance was quick and brief because I had to walk down a set of stairs in my mother's heeled boots. And I didn't make it. And then I kept on, it was an all-boys school, and they, for some reason, for a while there, felt that the theater should be all guys. And there was always like, they hunted for these plays that were only guys, but they always, there was always like one female role. I got stuck playing it for ages. And then my voice changed, thank God. And I started getting these other parts, and it was basically a choice. You had to do some extracurricular, I can't even say it, activity. And there was, the choices were, math club or chess club or debating club, or you could go to the girls' school and do a play. And I'm like, I'll do the girls' school, please. So basically, it was a feeble attempt to meet women, and it kind of worked. It's a weird thing. Like, why do you want to go as an actor? I don't know, but for some reason, people who don't know that seem to go for it. So, it was, and you got to play these, brooding characters, and then, so you sort of go on stage and you'd be like, I killed my teacher. I'm bad man. And you get off stage, they're like, so you want to go party? Bad man. I'm like, no thanks. I'm not bad at all. No, I'm bad. It's not even my jacket. So that's how I got into it. And then my friends were making films as well. That's how I got me. The film stuff is really what appealed to me. Vincenzo, who's literally now working with Guillermo del Toro doing a film called Splice. Guillermo del Toro is producing it, which I did in January. A tiny bit part, but fun. Mutants and all sorts of weird things going on. But he was making films with these little Cine 8, this is before video, the Cine 8mm film cameras. And we shot these strange little films, which we'd probably go to jail for now, like literally about shooting our math teachers and, and throwing people in front of cars. And I think he tried to recreate sort of a Blade Runner zombie film at some point as well. But basically we started making movies and they ended up just being big parties. But he went on, to make films and I went on to make films and we still work together all the time. So, and he still has a baby. Next question.